Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So, it's been a while since we made a video, but we have a review to do because Peacemaker Season 2 Episode 2 dropped, directed by Greg Milano, I believe, Malorny, I think is how you pronounce his name. Sorry if I butchered it, but, so Greg was a friend of James Gunn's, and so it's also written by James Gunn. So we're back to another Peacemaker episode. We got a lot to talk about in this one. Alright, so, well, actually, not a lot. It's going to be probably a shorter review because of the fact that there isn't a ton that happens, but it does move the plot forward, and we do have some details to go over. So, let's get into it. Peacemaker, Season 2, Episode 2. This episode features kind of more heavily into Eagly. We start this episode up with viewing Adebayo and Kia's relationship, and, you know, Adebayo thinks that they are on a break, where Kia thinks that they've broken up because they didn't go to Gotham together like she wanted. So that kind of sets that table. And then we see, through the episode, Hardcore's story arc. Give me 1 second, guys. Hardcore's story arc is basically taking her, going around, and she, you know, after her big brawl in the bar last episode, you see her kind of going around in this episode, and she's, you know, she's so helpless and desperate, she's trying to get a job at a convenience store. But she yells at this woman and calls one of the guys in the other aisle Beaker, like the test tube from the Muppets. And so Muppets is canon to the DCU now, so that's kind of interesting. But, so I really like how this was kind of brought in. It's nice to see that these characters aren't perfect. It's nice that they're broken, and you're seeing them struggle. That makes for really good storytelling, and I really love what we're getting here. I really think it's brilliant stuff. It's absolutely brilliant. I love how it's made here. I love how we're going to each of these characters. And so, then the next thing we have is John Economos. Obviously, we had the opening number. Great soundtrack this episode, which we'll get to more in a minute. But then we're introduced to John Economos is basically sitting in his van trying to get surveillance. And now, Frag doesn't trust John Economos since he's a former member of Team Peacemaker. So what happens next is John ends up meeting our newest character, Langston Flurry, like the McFlurry from McDonald's. Langston Flurry, is played by Tim Meadows, one of James Gunn's friends. And, you know, they told the story how they didn't know who to get for this guy, and then they got this guy. He very much reminds me of a more funny Don Cheadle. I love this guy. This guy steals the entire episode. The things that comes out of this dude's mouth are hilarious. James Gunn is such a good writer. He makes this dude so funny. He is literally giving, like, so many great moments to shine in this episode. One of the first ones is, there's a moment where he's talking to John Economos, and they're looking at Adrian Chase Vigilante. And in this moment, so viewers' discretion is advised for this one because it's gonna be a little sweary in this video. And he literally goes and he says, "That motherfucker looked like he catch all the Pokemon." I about died laughing. And then he follows it up. Now this is where it gets a little, not only rated R but very rated R. Then we get a follow-up line where he's like, "Oh, what were you doing if he was all nerding out over there?" And John Economos was, and then Langston looks at John Economos and goes, "I was getting my dick sucked by 2 bitches." Oh my god, just it's the comedy is on point. James Gunn is cooking. Greg does a great job with the direction. Great camera angles. Love how all the storylines are tying in together. Langston's hilarious. One of my favorite moments in the episode is actually Langston naming his teammates. He calls the girl that's bald Titties. He calls one of the guys Encino Man. He calls one person Ponytail, and then he He changes his name to Barely Legal because he's not listening to him. And we get an eagerly fight scene in this episode. More Foxy Shazam, because James Gunn loves Foxy Shazam. Great stuff in this episode. One action scene where Eagle goes absolutely ballistic, and they give him an aura walk, which is really amazing. We have an end credit scene, which follows up the joke from earlier, just continuing it. It's extended. Still really funny. We get to see the 11th Street Kids do the scene from the trailer where Adrian keeps trying to throw beers to John Economos, and we get to see what the gang's up to. And we end this with a shocking reveal at the end of the episode, where basically Peacemaker, after they kill his doppelganger earlier, him and Adrian, and you get a great scene between him and the alien where he yells at the alien. John Cena's just great. John Cena's acting in this episode. Not only does he do the comedy bits perfectly, but you're seeing so much more of the blend of everything here, and it's so good. DC is so good right now. I'm loving where everything's going. We get some great Rick Flag Sr. stuff, some backstory into him, and if you enjoy Rick Flag Sr., we're going to be talking about him in another video later today. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that one. This episode ends with basically Peacemaker has to go into the other dimension to call Hardcore, or to send her a text, and then they connect, and then you find out, and we're going to find out in the next episode how that goes, because there's a trailer at the end of this for the next episode, and it sounds like we're going to some really interesting directions. I really like where the story's going. I'm going to give Peacemaker episode 2 a 8.2 out of 10. Very solid episode. A slight downgrade from the last episode, but that's just because there was a lot of comedy, a lot of story, but there was a couple slow moments, not as much action as we're used to from Peacemaker, but I guarantee you episode 3 is going to dial that right back up. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that nice like, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace out, motherfucker.